We all know that a dogman is a very destructive creature. We know that dogmen tend to be very bad for relationships and can destroy relationships. But is there a chance that the dogman can be the glue that holds that relationship together? I'm Ryan Davidson, and I have been fascinated by the dogman legend, those who have seen him, and those whose lives have been touched by him. This is Lookin Back and a Grinnin. Episode 15, Vacay. This is Lookin Back and a Grinnin. I hear you have a dogman ditty for me.
Hi, hello? Hello, is this Ryan?
Yeah, this is Ryan Davidson.
Hi, hang on just a second, sweetheart. Kyle, turn the ball game down, honey. Ma's gonna be on TV. Yeah, I'm so sorry about that. Are you there, sweetheart?
Yes, and also this is not this is not on TV. This is a podcast. It's all audio.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Kyle, he did say that it was going to be on one of those iPods. I'm not up on the technology. What can I say?
Yeah, for sure. And could you please tell me your name?
This is Margot Tabechekski. My friends call me Midgey.
Midgey. Is it okay if I call you Midgey?
I would love that. Thank you.
Oh, perfect. Okay, Midgey. Well, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, your typical Midwestern housewife. Met my husband, Chucky. We were both class of 1978 there at Denfield High School in Duluth. We've raised two beautiful boys. I did some night school teaching the middle schoolers some sewing, but other than that, I was home with the boys. I want to say hi to my little pricks sewing circle. Hi, kids. It's Midgey.
So Midgey, why don't you tell me a little bit about this dogman story, this experience that you had?
Oh boy. Well, I wouldn't have known it until actually, Kyle's one of your biggest fans. He's on the iPods all the time and thought that might be a good opportunity to share my tale.
Well, Midgey, this is the perfect place to do that, sometimes when you have like a dogman experience, sometimes you think, is anybody ever going to believe me, and sometimes people just kind of clam up, and there's probably a lot of people who have seen the dogman but have never said anything. So I just want you to know, no judgments here. I want you to just tell me what happened in your situation.
Oh, sure, yeah, I'd love to. So this would have been back in 2015. Chucky and I, we was getting ready to celebrate our 35th wedding anniversary, if you can believe that. And the boys are grown and out of the house now and stuff, and so we thought for our 35th, Chucky says to me one day, Midgey, let's get us one of them, let's go rent one of them RVs and go up, take the trip over up to the Upper Penisula, Michigan. He decided we're gonna go be yuppies for a week up there camping. So that's kind of where it got started. We were trying to celebrate our anniversary and just kind of, get some alone time together. And so that's where it all happened. We were up there at the Porcupine Mountains.
Okay, you're at the Porcupine Mountains, and it was your anniversary. 35 years. Wow, that's a feat. And where did you see the dogman?
Right. So I guess it all started, and forgive me too, Ryan, because we women of a certain age here, and I'm gonna blush. Because the story does get a little bit personal, and I'm certainly not used to talking about these kinds of things on the radio, so forgive me if I get a little bit embarrassed. But I guess it would make the most sense to start, on this long drive out there in our RV. We're seeing the sights and all, and Chucky says to me, Midgey, speaking of mushrooms, and he kind of glances down there, at the seat of his pants a little bit, and I say, Chucky, and I couldn't believe it. I hadn't seen him that excited in years. And I said, what's gotten into you? He's never really been that much of a tiger in the bedroom, to be perfectly honest. So I was really surprised. He says to me, Midgey, have you ever heard of that, what's it called? Oh my heavens. Oh, the cockholder. The cockholder fantasy. From like the Shakespeares? Have you heard of that, Ryan?
Yeah, I've heard of that. Okay. You don't have to explain what it is if you don't want to.
Well, I mean, of course, now I understand. Now I know exactly what it is, but he says to me, cockholder. The only thing I can think of is my rooster motif on my kitchen towels at home. I'm thinking, what the heck are you talking about? And so he said that I thought maybe we might be able to sort of spice things up a little bit. And do you know what he told me? That he always had this fantasy of seeing some other fella putting it to his old lady.
Oh, God.
So he kind of gave me the heads up about that, and we had gotten all settled, got our canopy set up, and we were getting ready to have some supper up there in the porcupines. And Chucky says, "Well, Midgey, what do you feel like having for dinner?" I said, "Well, we're being yuppies. Why don't we get some pasties we can cook on the fire?" So Chucky goes off, and he went down to the little pasty stand that they got there, and he stopped at the shop too to get himself a 6-pack of Schlitz. That's his beer, and I was just waiting for him to come back from the store so we could have some supper. And lo and behold, he comes back here with this fella.
With a fella.
Yeah, oh yeah, he comes walking back with this new fella, great big tall guy. Chucky's only 5'4". He's not he doesn't have a great stature himself, and never seen anything like. As a matter of fact, when they come walking up through the woods, the first thing I thought was, well, holy buckets, that's Mother Tabechekski. I swear, you wouldn't believe it if I told you, but here comes this fella, and he had this big shaggy coat that was like black and gray and real shaggy, and the only thing I could think was Mother Tabechekski's fur coat. She's had that thing in storage for 40 years, and she swore up and down that was Wolverine. But I tell you what, now that I think about it, Ryan, looking back, it wouldn't surprise me. Of course, I wasn't sure until I was, mashed face down in his nethers later, but I thought, my goodness, even the smell was so overpowering. I thought, my goodness, that's exactly like Mother Tabechekski's fur coat.
Ah, so, Midgey, are you saying that your husband brought a Dogman to have sex with you in front of him?
That's exactly what happened, Ryan. And from there, it was all kind of so fast. And I wasn't even sure, exactly what I was. I mean, you wouldn't exactly say that we had a proper introduction or anything at that point.
Right. Okay. Why don't you tell us about that interaction?
I would imagine that, the two of them had a conversation, because there was only 2 beers left in the 6-pack by the time he got back to the campsite. So I imagine they were already a little, Chucky never had much of a tolerance anyway. So I'm thinking they're already probably 3 sheets to the wind. Here they come walking up, and there was no hello, hi, how are ya introductions or nothing. Next thing I know, this fella had me inside the RV. He had me, his claws right in the back of my neck, right on the dowager's hump there. And of course, Chucky's there getting excited. And the next thing I know, we was off to the races.
Oh, God.
It happened so suddenly. Like I said, he had me by the back of the scruff of my neck. I was bent over that kitchen table there in the RV. And this fella, he didn't even take the time to lift up my house coat. And of course, I had Chucky's favorite house coat on. And next thing I knew, this dog fella was inside me, and it was an ecstasy that I've never experienced before. Chucky was looking deep into my eyes, and when he reached out and touched my hand, we felt that connection, just like we were kids again. And after Chucky reached out to touch my hand there, boy, that dog fella just really did not like that at all. And it became very, very clear that I was his, and he was gonna take me, and he was not gonna let Chucky join into the experience. And just to make sure that was the case, and I have to say, I'm so embarrassed to even bring this up, but Ryan, that Dogman, he started to use the restroom.
He started to what?
He started to use the restroom. And
oh my God.
Smell the stink. It was as if I was his possession, and he was just gonna mark his territory. And my goodness, the scat and the smell. Needless to say, we never did get to the pasties that night.
Well, I would say that is at least a Looking Back in a Grinnin exclusive. You heard it here, folks. Dogman can piss with a boner.
Oh, boy howdy. Boy howdy, you said a mouthful there.
So, Midgey, I guess when all is said and done probably several times, how did your husband take the whole situation?
I wouldn't be surprised if Chucky would even say that things really didn't go, it probably wasn't his vision of the fantasy of the cockholder fantasy that he would have wanted either. I think that he would have liked to participate a little bit more. But I tell you, that dog fella, sure, he wasn't having it. I guess you could say that he just wasn't real into sharing.
Yeah, that sounds exactly like a Dogman, actually. So, Midgey, is there, anything that you, learned? Is there, a lesson that maybe you learned from all of this very bizarre thing?
Well, even after 35 years, Ryan, that's something that's kind of hard to come back to. And though it was exciting, because I can say, as a woman of certain age, I've never been taken like that. And so, after that night, we did end up taking, we cut the trip short. And, on the drive back in the RV, Chucky and I are just kind of looking at each other like, where do you go from here? I guess you could say that this whole experience really kind of opened up a whole new world for old Midgey. I'm not doing the sewing classes anymore. It's not something like, it's not like you can really get the dog fella's number or anything after something like that. But I guess you could just say that it kind of left me with a certain yearning for more. And I just, this is a new phase in my life, in my golden years, that I'm looking to kind of enjoy myself and continue this adventure. So we did make the decision to dissolve the marriage after that.
Well, Midgey, what I'll say is that is a disgusting story. And I salute you as being a strong woman and kind of a horn dog. Good for you, I guess.
And I just want to say out to the ladies out there of a certain age, it's never too late, gals. You go for what feels good.
Oh, my God. So, okay, Midgey, well, I'm going to cut it short there. So, yeah, I just really wanted to thank you for sharing that intimate story with us.
You're very welcome, Ryan. You have a good day, sweetheart.
Oh, you too. Thank you so much, Midgey.
It was fun.
Next time on Lookin Back in a Grinnin', I reconnect with an old friend, and we open up our mailbag. Didn't even know we had one, but it's a good time to open it up. See you next week.